Welcome. The upcoming lunar eclipse is a significant turning point. It is the last one before we enter an astrological new year, but not only a new year, it really is a shift into a completely new era. And this will bring a lot of important changes also into your life. And what exactly awaits us, more on that in a moment. But first, a warm welcome here on my YouTube channel. And if you want to receive a weekly energetic update, what's coming up the next week, then please sign up for my free newsletter. The link is below this video. And if you are interested in learning Vedic astrology, to learn more about the planets, the signs and the houses, and what this means energetically, I held a workshop on it, and if you would like to watch the recording, check the link also below this video. The upcoming lunar eclipse on March the 25th in the sign of Virgo at 10.55 degrees in the lunar mansion Hasta is a penumbral lunar eclipse, which means the earth is between the sun and the moon, but the moon is not in the earth umbra. And this means it might still be faintly visible in the sky. A lunar eclipse is always a full moon, because the earth stands between the sun and the moon. And this darkens the moon's light. This lunar eclipse will be visible over the most parts of the world, and mainly Europe, North and East Asia, Australia, Africa, North America, South America, the Atlantic, Arctic and the Antarctic. And where it is visible, it also has its most energetic influence. And during an eclipse, it is not just about the day itself or the week. The influence usually lasts up to 6 months or even longer. This lunar eclipse is the prelude for the solar eclipse that will take place on April the 8th. And the solar eclipse is the climax of this current eclipse cycle. An eclipse is always a very fateful time period where many things can change, because it is connected to the lunar nodes, and the lunar nodes are the crossing points of the sun's and the moon's orbit. And in this case, Ketu, the lower lunar node, is positioned with the moon in the sign of Virgo during this eclipse. And at the same time, the sun is with Rahu, the upper lunar node, in the sign of Pisces. The moon represents our emotions, and together with Ketu, it can evoke unpredictable emotions, even very rebellious feelings, where one may feel constricted, especially by external norms and rules. And the moon is also directly connected to the element of water, to the ocean and the sea. And we know the influence of the moon on tides as well. And exactly at this time, the planet Mercury is in Gandanta. Gandanta is always a critical point. It is the transition from 29 degrees in Pisces into the sign of Aries. And Gandanta stands for uncontrolled behavior, and both from us humans and also the element of water, especially for the region of Japan, because there in Japan's birth horoscope of the country, at 16 degrees in the sign of Virgo, sits planet Neptune. And Neptune is the god of the sea. And with his trident, which he rams into the ocean floor, this can cause a lot of disruption. And especially with this eclipse energy, this can cause earthquakes and also seaquakes. And so especially for Japan, this is a time where there is an increased risk for earthquakes and seaquakes. It does not have to happen, but just knowing that these energies can trigger such events is important. Also for China, the risk is relatively high too, because in China's birth horoscope as well, Neptune is positioned at 21 degrees in the sign of Virgo, along with a retrograde Mercury. And Mars is aspecting the 8th house Leo during this eclipse. And Mars also aspects the 4th house, and the 4th house in a birth chart of a country signifies the land, the ground. And so we have this heightened risk of natural disasters around China. In the horoscope of the USA, we also have Neptune in the sign of Virgo, but at 1 degree. So it is not so much connected. However, the moon in the chart of the USA is positioned at 7 degrees in the sign of Aquarius, exactly where Mars in transit is. And when this happens during an eclipse, it can also signify tragic events, because the moon rules the 8th house in the USA birth horoscope, and the 8th house signifies transformation. And the moon also represents the masses, the people in a country. And Mars brings with it the element of violence and terrorist attacks. And with the moon as the ruler of the 8th house, it also involves scandals, secrets that can particularly concern the government. So it seems that this time zone is extremely eventful during this lunar eclipse, and it is the last one before the new astrological year will start with the solar eclipse in April, the one with the very special Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, which will start a complete new era here on Earth. I have already made a video about these energies. Check it out. The link is up here. The solar eclipse takes place 2 weeks later, and we will see how these energies unfold. For the Ukraine, this lunar eclipse is also very important because Mars sits at 7 degrees in Aquarius, and it is opposite of the Sun in the birth horoscope of the Ukraine. And that means it is not an easy time, and this could also indicate a change in leadership or more pressure on the leaders, or even a new intensification of the conflict there. The Sun is located in the 8th house, which is not a good house for the country and the people. It indicates danger. But what does these energies mean for you personally? Here it is important to look which house it is in your horoscope, the sign of Virgo. And for that you need a Vedic horoscope. You cannot use the horoscope from Western astrology. And if you want one, you can order it in our online shop. You find the link below this video. So you look which life themes are affected in your life, because every house has a meaning, and we have 12 houses in astrology, and each house represents a different life topic. And in this house where the eclipses will take place, this axis of Pisces and Virgo. This is very important. The solar eclipse will happen in Pisces 2 weeks later, and the lunar eclipse now happens in Virgo. This is the prominent era of the most important changes in your life for the next month. And for all of us, the sign of Virgo and Pisces, this axis is the axis of disease and health. And with Ketu there in Virgo, there's a lot going on at this time. And it could be that it is a trigger for a new virus, the topic of a new virus. But also with Rahu and Mercury in the opposite house in the sign of Pisces, and this is connected to the media, there might be not maybe the truth coming out about this topic. We will see how it will play out. This lunar eclipse is deeply connected to Mother Earth itself and the major transformation processes of the Earth, which often goes hand in hand with natural disasters. And here especially everything related to the oceans, but also, as I mentioned, the topic of earthquakes. The sign of Virgo is related also to our past, our actions, our karma, where we want to find balance in our life, where we want to repay our old debts. And it can shake up some relationships, especially where there is already much conflict and where the life path basically separate more and more. And this lunar eclipse shows you this. And it is also associated with harboring feelings of revenge and finally seeking retribution. But that never really works out well. But on the positive side, it can also mean taking a relationship to a next level and to bond more with each other. Eclipses are always a time where we can make big changes. We become aware of things that we could not see before, and therefore we can make new and better decisions. It is always a very special and fateful time. And this lunar eclipse occurs directly in conjunction with a fixed star that is positioned exactly at 10.58 degrees in the sign of Virgo, and the eclipse happens at 10.55 degrees, so it is super exact, a super exact conjunction. And therefore this fixed star adds its energy to the energy cocktail of this eclipse. Fixed stars are always special amplifiers, and this fixed star is called Zania. It is associated with the topic of peace negotiations, to understand when the battle is lost, when it is over. Actually, it is a very good energy that we humans should now use to find ways out of this entrenched war situation. For example, in Ukraine and also in the Gaza Strip. Actually, we are now at a point where more people should understand that war never brings a solution, and people should not blindly follow orders, but should activate their own morals and ethics. The Pope's initiative for peace he made was rejected by many Western politicians as absurd, and I wonder when there will be a readiness to look at things from a higher perspective and to start reducing fears. These are very old karmic patterns that are still being played out here on earth over and over again when it comes to the topic of power and powerlessness, of war and peace. But we will not solve this issue by bombing cities and creating new suffering. This fixed star reminds us that it is time to find other solutions. But the chance for peace negotiations are currently very, very low. We are rather heading towards a further escalation of the situation, because also the lunar eclipse is happening now at the same place where the last solar eclipse took place in October in the sign of Virgo, which also triggered the escalation of the crisis in the Middle East. This eclipse is also very critical because the ruling planet where the eclipse occurs in Virgo is Mercury, and Mercury is at the exact time of the eclipse positioned at 29 degrees in Gandanta, like I spoke of, in the sign of Pisces, and exactly transitioning into a fire sign. And therefore we will experience that communication will be very difficult. It is a very unstable time zone, and it can give many people the feeling of losing control. And also the global events can continue to develop in a negative way. But we must understand, we often only see one side of the coin and interpret everything negatively in a world where we repeatedly experience that the negative seemingly has more power to change things than the positive forces. But in truth, we stand at the great threshold into a complete new era. And this eclipse energy occurs in connection with the Earth Heart Chakra, where so much healing can now start. Right now, with this lunar eclipse, when the moon is in the lunar mansion Hasta, which is associated with Christ energy, with the golden healing frequency. That's so important, so we can heal very much now with these energies during this eclipse. We cannot stop the processes of change, even in our own lives nor on the world stage, but we can learn to develop an inner attitude that is characterized by positivity rather than hatred and anger. Yet everyone decides for themselves what you will make of it and you in your personal life at this special time of transformation. So feel free to share this video with your friends and like-minded people, and I also look forward to your comments, and I love you.